Do you want to know how to go from negative net worth, meaning you're worth less than zero, to over $1 million in less than 5 years? So it all comes back to the compounding effect over time. So one of the big things, this is one of my favorite books, is The Compound Effect. And it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So saving money, spending time, creating your daily habits. So what do you look like first thing in the morning? Are you getting up early? Are you sleeping in? Or you keep hitting the snooze button? So it's creating the habits to do the things that need to be done. It's called the unsuccessful person's going to keep hitting the snooze button, not get out of bed. The successful one's going to say, screw it. Their feet hit the floor, they get out of bed, they do the things that need to be done, and they keep on moving. They go to the gym, they get their exercise in, they're reading. I would say, book in your day, reading in the morning and reading in the end of the day. And it doesn't have to be long. It could be 5 to 10 minutes, especially if you're just starting. Take 5 minutes, turn it into 15 minutes later. So it's amazing how you can get through these things by just spending the time. He talks about the compounding of a penny. Do you want $3 million right now, or a penny that doubles every day for 31 days? Most people will take that $3 million, but it doesn't start showing up until day 27, 28, 29, where it becomes $1 million, becomes 2.5, and then 5, and then 10. It ends on $10 million. So if you took that compounding penny, but so many people want the immediate gratification of taking this, versus if you create these habits over time, you have such a better quality of life. You don't mind getting up and doing the hard things. I think of my days. I'm up at 4:44. I go to, get myself together. I stretch at 5:30. I'm at the gym by 6. I'm out the door of the gym by 5 to 10 of 7. I'm back home, change my clothes since it's cold in the winter, because then I'm soaked from my workout. So I'll change, go out for a walk around 7:15, finish around 7:50 to 7:55, get a shower. I eat breakfast, and I'm in the office between 8:30, 8:45 in the morning. Some days I'm a little bit later, just depends on if I walk longer and I'm talking to neighbors. Because the other thing is building some small things in. Talking to the neighbors that are out there every morning, get to know people, smile, wave. I wave to everybody. I'm like, if you're in my neighborhood, you probably see me waving to them all the time. I was getting a haircut the one day, and a school bus driver's like, hey, I know you, I see you every morning. I'm like, do you live in my neighborhood? And she said, no, I'm a school bus driver in your neighborhood, but I see you wave to everybody. I'm like, yeah, that's just like, you're just so friendly on that. So be friendly, be nice. These things compound over time. I've sold 5 homes in my neighborhood lately to people, like either sold or got referrals from them, or purchased a home just from being nice and talking. Amazing what will come out of that, of just spending the time. Be in the moment. And, I was talking to one of my agents the other day, and he said, I was looking at this home inspection report at dinner. We went out to dinner. I was like, why would you do that? I was like, you go out with your wife and your daughter, you've got to live in that moment, enjoy the time. And yes, it's tough. And do I break these rules? Yes, way too many times. But I would tell you, when you get really good and you're cognitive of it, it sits in the back of your mind, the reticular activator, you're thinking about these things, you're going to tend not to do it. Let them enjoy the time. You want to stay married. You want your kid to love you. You want to build value to your kid as well. So again, these small things that compound over time, because when you don't do it, there's a story of 3 guys in this book. It talks about, hey, if you don't spend the time doing the small things, parking a little bit farther away, getting a little bit extra steps in, staying a little longer at work, making a couple extra phone calls, when you get to the worst decision for me is a menu. So when you're sitting in front of that menu, do you pick the salad or you pick a burger? So you're making the better health choices. So all these things don't show up today, but they do show up over time. The story in the book is about 31 months before it shows up. One's way overweight, one is divorced, and the other one's got promotions, doing well, kept himself really fit. But where do you want to be? Do you want to be successful, or do you want to be unsuccessful? What is your definition of success? That's the other thing that comes in there. It's a matter of what's important to you, not what's important to me. Stop looking through the window pane and worrying about everybody else. Looking in the mirror, what's important to you, figure it out, figure your goals out, what you really want, and stick to them. When you do, you start creating a map of what you want. Follow the map, because otherwise you're off on all these distractions. I'm thinking of a couple meetings I had this week. Like, my schedule is pretty tight, it's organized, and it's very similar each day. I know what time I'm getting up, I know when I'm going to the gym, I know when I'm home, I know when I'm in the office, I know what my first 3-4 hours are every day. If you could work just 4 concentrated hours a day, it would be amazing what you can turn in your life into. And then when you get focused really good on that, does it turn into 8? I know through when you have pressure and hunger, you're like hungry because I don't have enough money coming in the door. So are you structured and hold yourself accountable to these things? Then you work 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, but you're also more focused on that time because you're hungry, meaning I need to get myself out of debt. So I was talking before, 2010, 2011, I had about $110,000 in credit card debt from investment properties, some bad investments I made, had business partners that, kind of left me high and dry. And that was my choices. I got myself there. I had to get myself out of debt. So I was negative net worth by a lot, and then it turned into over $1 million within 5 years. But it's between creating habits. I was out of shape. I had not gone to the gym in a long time. I was just working. I was not taking care of myself. So make sure you are taking care of yourself, because there's got to be time for that. If you're not doing those things, then you get big out of shape. Look at some of my old videos. You're on my YouTube channel. Look below. You'll see from like 2013, 14, 15, where my face was about this big. My arms weren't as lean. My midsection wasn't as lean. I was way overweight. I was in a size 40 pants. Now I'm down to a 35 pants and I have some room in them. But think of what you want your life to look like. Take the time. It's not magic and it doesn't happen today. It didn't happen to me in one day. It happened to me over time, 5, 6 years. I was working hard. I changed careers and it was getting myself out of that. But I don't know if you can see all the books here, but I'm going to hold some of them up as we go through. And it was a compounding of reading books, compound effect. I have The Success Principles, Jack Canfield. This one's such a good book as well, because we get into the negative doom and gloom of like, oh my God, this is happening to me. This is happening to me. Oh my God. Well, you're probably putting negative vibrations out in the earth, first of all. So what are you putting out there you're generally attracting? So if you put really good stuff out there, like, man, I'm trying my best. I'm doing the best I can. I'm smiling. I'm being nice to people. I go to the grocery store. I'm friendly. I help somebody with their groceries. Say an older lady's trying to get to her car, or older gentleman, so forth. Just do the small things that help. Be kind. And then doing that over time, the better my vibrations were on earth and the more conversations I was having, all of a sudden I'm getting more business and more business and more business. And that grew my business. And then I'm hiring more people, and then it's growing and compounding again. But it comes back to what you put out in the earth is going to come back. Mental telepathy. A lot of time, like if you're thinking of someone, they're probably thinking of you too. Take the time and call them. Amazing with the connection. And it may be a really good thing. You may have helped them something major in their life. They may be going through a deep bout of depression or whatever it may be. You don't know where you're catching someone. Have the phone call. Amazing what will come out of it. Dean Grazioso, the success principle, his was success habits. So he talked about, he grew up in upstate New York. Him and his dad, to the point where they were sleeping in a bathroom in the house because it was cold in upstate New York. They would run a heater, which you had to take the doorknob out, put the extension cord in, so they'd have a heated, that's the smallest room in the house that they could heat. So one slept on the floor, one slept in the tub. Now he's worth multi-million dollar, like hundreds of million, to the point where he donates a lot back and so forth. But it took back to what was his habits, what was his focus, what was he doing? And he was constantly at it. And you have to get out of your comfort zone to grow. When you start growing and thinking of what you want, amazing what will come out of it. But you have to spend time thinking of what you want. Otherwise, you have no roadmap to get you where you want. And all of a sudden, you're on somebody else's roadmap and you're helping them get what they want and you're not getting what you want. Really good book. 4 Disciplines of Execution. So the 4D book, there's so much good stuff in here. I can't, like, for me to just say specifics, but it's the compounding of reading these books over time. Where does it take, like, who does it make you? Think of lottery winners, right? They win tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars, and 80% of them within 5 years are bankrupt. You don't want to be that, because they haven't become there mentally. When you become there mentally, amazing what can come out of it. You know how to invest. You know how to spend your money. You know how to live on less than you make. Live on less than you make. A lot of people, I wasn't doing that in my 2007, 8, 9, 10, probably somewhere in that range, because I was worried about what things needed to be done. What did I had to have? I just built my house, put a pool in, and finished the basement. And then I went from I was in the car business previously since I was a kid, and into real estate. So I had changed careers and so forth, and I had dug my hole that I needed to get myself out of. but nobody else could get me out of it. I had to change who I was here, first of all, and then it changed over time of the physical as well, because it was like, once I got my financial, my financial place in a good place, then I had to start working on myself. And as I started working on myself, actually, I've seen that compound even more of me getting better and better and better and earning more income through these times. And then I was investing. So I was reading books like Millionaire Real Estate Investor. I was reading, that one is like, how do you buy properties? What should you buy? Do you buy them and hold them? Do you buy them and flip them? What are you doing? So I had first started flipping properties. Then I started investing in and buying rentals. And I would tell you, if I had the opportunity to go back in time, I would own every property that I had bought over the years. I would find a way to keep them and turn them into rentals, because when you look from 2010 to where we're at now, everything's up 30 to 40%, depending on where it is. That would have made a huge difference in my net worth. And what I would say, one of the starting points for me was, this is 2010, 11, I read this, was Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. But I would say, besides just reading this, there's a workbook that goes along with it. But I would tell you, Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, I think I checked it out last week, and it's like $79. It's about 7 hours of video. It's 7 sessions. Do that. He talks about anywhere from getting out of debt, save your first $1,000. So, because Murphy's going to show up one of these days. You need Murphy's Law. Something's going to happen. You get a flat tire, car breaks down, dead battery. Now all of a sudden you have to go into reserves for that. If you don't have reserves, then what? Then say you max out your credit cards, you have no money to do these things. Now you're borrowing. So reserves. Then you want to also debt snowball. How do you get rid of your smallest bill first? Compound that in. And then, saving 3 months to 6 months of reserves of what your monthly expenses are. And these are baby steps, but it's a great place to go. Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. That was one I read years ago. It's about paying yourself first. So pay yourself 10% at least, making sure that you're putting money away for your retirement. Again, living on less than you make, that's not what the norm is. And the norm is, what do the Joneses have? I'm going after what the Joneses have. And I'm like, you're focused on what everybody else has instead of what you want. When you know what you want, then you can save your money. Then you can go buy the things. Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else so you can live like no one else. And it's a pain. It's like those 2011 to 13, 14 were really painful for at least a couple of the years. It got better towards the end. But it was like, we weren't going out to dinner. We weren't spending our money on anything. We were very tight on our budget. We created a budget. That's one of your biggest things that I left out with Dave Ramsey, is creating a budget. What is your home budget? What is your business budget? If you're don't have a business, just focus on where are your expenses going and so forth. Going back to David Bach, he talks about The Millionaire Next Door was another really good book of his. And he was talking about like the people driving the Mercedes versus the Honda Accords. They both get you to work. They're both nice vehicles. They're both pretty luxurious. You can get leather and sunroof and all the bells and whistles in them. But the person that's driving the Honda Accord, most cases, has a lot more money than the average Mercedes-Benz buyer. So just think of, what are you doing with your money? How are you saving? How is that compounding to get your net worth higher? Have you bought investment properties, and have you held them for rentals? Because that is mailbox money that you don't have to go and work for every day. As long as you're buying the right investment properties that are cash flowing, because investing is cash flow, period. That's your biggest number that you're looking at. We just finished a wealth building seminar. If you have questions on it, or I can help you in any way, feel free to private message me or subscribe below. Put a link in there. I'll check the messages, and if there's something I can help you with, feel free to reach out. Also at my office, 410-638-9555. We look forward to helping, and thanks for watching. Take care.